Hello, friend. Welcome to day 19 of our 20-day challenge together. I'm your host, Alicia Carrasco, entrepreneur, author, wife, and mom of two. And if this is the very first episode that you're listening to and you're wondering what the 20-day challenge is, let me explain you very quickly in hopes that you also want to join in. So for the first 20 episodes of this podcast, I propose to be your guide on your journey of self-transformation by committing 20 days to listen to the corresponding episode where we dive deep into the keys and techniques to explore your inner self, and then you commit to do 3 to 5 minute journaling reflection exercise. If you'd like to take me up on this challenge, you can go ahead and keep listening to this very same episode, or you can always go back to day one of this challenge and start together this journey. And I must say that we are approaching the end of our challenge. Today is day 19. And yesterday's and today's episodes are both designed to be really practical and straightforward in order to guide you on how to take action and finish this challenge with total clarity on your life vision, and also to get a bit more clear on what your purpose might be. And let me tell you that an ideal way to set out on this path of purpose, especially if you still have doubts about it, is to do this important task of introspection and awareness raising in which you have created your life vision. And if you start heading into that direction, you can be sure that at some point you will understand what your purpose is because you are already aligning your life with your deepest desires. And what you're doing is you're increasing your vibrational energy and at the same time attracting to your life what you really need to follow your purpose here on earth. And that being said, yesterday in day 18, we explored together the 3 steps to create your life vision. And it was a full hands on episode guiding you step by step on creating your life vision. And I hope you really enjoyed that process. And by now, you have your life vision ready with you because today we're moving to the next phase that comes right after having your life vision ready. It is actually the actions that you have to take in order to start walking towards that life vision that you just created. So let's start. So, the last phase to ensure that this vision of yours moves forward and to be able to measure the progress that you're making is to set goals to achieve in every area of your life. As we saw in day 17 of this challenge, when there is a total synergy between your life goals and your habits, this generates a powerful movement in your life towards where you want to go. And this happens because you are sending totally aligned energetic signals to the universe through your thoughts and your actions, and you are presented with opportunities or coincidences to go in that same direction. So let's uncover the 3 main steps that I follow to move towards my life vision. And these are actually the steps that I follow to ultimately organize my day to day. And I just hope that these steps help you as well in this journey. So let's start with the step number 1. It is setting annual and quarterly goals. So, my first advice here is that when setting goals, it is best not to overcomplicate things. Over the years, I found out that simplicity is the key to maintaining goals and habits. In my experience, when too many goals are set, all it does is actually generate a jumble of thoughts in the mind that infinitely complicates everything. Ideally, you should be able to set a number of goals that you are able to remember mentally without too much difficulty. And there's a quote that I love from the author and business consultant Jim Collins that says, if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. And that's totally true. And I can say that from my personal experience that when you spread yourself too thin, you end up losing focus and clarity on what's really important in your life. So, my advice is following the 3 priorities quote that I just said to set no more than 3 annual goals that you would like to achieve to move towards your life vision. And yes, I know we do have 7 categories, right, in our life vision. So it would make sense to have 7 goals, right? And you can totally do that. But again, if you are able to just choose to commit to 3 goals that are going to move you to your desired outcome in 3 specific categories, that is more than enough because you'll end up making huge progress on those areas. And after achieving your desired results, you can then focus on the other 3 and so on. So instead of taking like massive, huge action all at the same time, all 7 categories at once, you are progressively making immense progress in 3 areas at a time. Let me tell you that I've applied both approaches. And I can say that this approach of simplifying and having only three goals at a time, it's really powerful. So once you have decided on your three annual goals, what comes right after is to do the same for the quarter, establishing what are the three main goals that you'll have for the next 90 days. And at the end of each quarter, you will renew those goals and do the same with the annual goals at the end of each year. When renewing your goals, it is always important to do this process, of course, with your life vision in front of you to avoid setting goals that are actually the result of external urgencies that may have arisen, or to ensure that you really continue in the direction that you have set for yourself in your life vision. And the key question that I always ask myself when I'm doing this renewal of my goals is, what goals should I set for myself this quarter or this year to move most quickly and effectively towards my life vision? And normally, after setting quarterly goals, the next step is to do the same for the month. You can do that. But in my case, however, I have come to realize that by skipping the month's goals and looking directly for the quarterly goals, which is a 90-day target, I find it much clearer and it gives me a more global and broader view of where I am heading, where planning the actions that I'm going to take each week. But it's up to you. You can totally do the same process for the month. Step two, setting weekly commitments and daily plan. So the last two steps to bringing your life vision into your day-to-day life is to always plan what your week and days are going to be like, putting intention into every single day. So for weekly planning, it could be done at the end of the previous week, or maybe Friday afternoon, Sunday, or Monday morning. It's up to you, whichever feels most natural to you. And when preparing what your week is going to be like, you're not going to define tasks to complete. You're not going to write down a to do list, but rather you're going to write down commitments that you want to take for that week. And the main difference between the two of them is that the to do lists in general tend to be simply obligations or urgencies to be solved without a very clear purpose as to how they serve you to move your life towards your vision, right? However, when organizing yourself based on commitments, you are planning from a more global vision aligned with your goals in every area of your life. So, for example, in the planning of the week, you could ensure that, I don't know, the editing team has all the resources to be able to finish the promotional video, for example, as a commitment, right? But you would not put specific tasks like give access to Vimeo, for example, or decide what the B-roll should be like, for example, or meeting with the editors. Those are like to-dos inside, right? But what you want to do in your when you are planning your weekly commitments is decide the three main focus, the three main commitments that can relate to each one of your quarterly targets or monthly goals. Thus, what you're going to do is you're going to ensure that you are moving towards those goals through those commitments. And even so, there might be weeks when you need to have several commitments focused on the same goal, or weeks perhaps when there are goals where you have not been able to move forward with the commitments you have set for yourself, and so on. But this is totally natural thing that you have to understand, and it can fluctuate. The only thing that matters is to have those commitments ready and have clarity on the direction of your week, because all the urgencies are going to come, right? All the inputs that you're going to have in your life are going to come. So if you are proactive in that approach and you plan your week intentionally by looking at your life vision, at your goals, and then your commitments, it's easier for you to kind of spot when something is getting you out of track. So as long as you are actively and consciously making decisions, it means that you are still in control of your days, and that in one way or another, you're still moving towards your vision. When it comes to daily planning, I like to do it at the end of the day before, because this way, when I wake up every morning, I have total clarity and intention, knowing what my main goals for the day are. And just like the week, the day's planning should not simply be a list of tasks to accomplish, but should rather be a structured rhythm based on two or three main goals, intentions for that day. And from there, establish what the main tasks are to be done to meet those goals. My advice is as well, try not to set more than 6 daily tasks, with 3 of those always being the most relevant and essential tasks to accomplish to ensure that your day's goals have been met in full or at least partially. And there is a reason to consciously limit the number of daily tasks because it kind of acts as a mechanism to ensure your daily success. Because when we fall into the habit of making very long to do lists, they usually do not end up being completed. And as a consequence, it also generates a feeling of pressure and frustration with a direct negative consequence on your energetic state because you have not been able to kind of check off each of the tasks, which at the same time does not help at all in keep moving forward towards your purpose. So this is what we must avoid at all costs. So it is better to create days with the spaces where there is room for error and which are kind of realistic than to create huge lists of tasks that cannot be accomplished on a continuous basis and that also are going to keep you busy but not really productive. So it is better to have less in your day to day than a lot of things to complete because if you are able to go deeper in just a few tasks every day, you are going to make immense progress. Step number 3, establish your 3 key daily habits. So at this point, stop for a second and just congratulate yourself because you have all the tools that you need right now to perfectly align your habits with your life vision. So you should feel very happy and special at this very moment because the vast majority of people do not dedicate the time and effort to do this in-depth exercise of active awareness about their life, who they are and who they want to become in order to live their life to the fullest, right? Only a few dare to take this step and walk the path towards the purpose with all the fears and challenges and personal growth that it entails. So, congratulations again, because you are one of the few who decided to take the big step to live in total harmony with your inner truth. So, regarding the habits that you establish now will be more aligned than ever with the direction in which you want to take your life and your personal growth. And it is true that you can also have habits that boost your days and your energy without having consciously creating your life vision, right? Simply by following what makes you feel good and energized, you can actually have good habits in your life, right? However, as we've seen in episode 17, in day 17 of this challenge, the moment you align your life vision with your goals and actions and daily habits, you are sending high vibrational energy signals to the universe that are consistent and that are amplifying and powerfully attracting what you need into your life to follow the path. So before deciding which new habits you want to adopt in your life daily, I recommend you to revisit your life vision and also your annual goals. And then write down what habits you believe will help you move towards your annual goals. And ideally, you should establish 3 key habits that are going to push you towards your 3 annual goals. In general, just as with goals over the years, I have come to the conclusion that the simpler the habits you're going to establish in your life, the more likely they are to last over time and become an inseparable part of you. Some of my habits are, for example, jogging for 10 minutes every morning, meditating for 5 to 10 minutes a day, practicing yoga fitness every morning for 30 to 40 minutes, also dedicating for myself 1 hour a day for creative tasks as 4 to 5 a.m. when I wake up. Also, reconnecting as a couple every Thursday from 12 to 4 p.m. And also, one of our habits is not following the news at all. We don't watch TV, we only watch proactively some movies that we decide, right? Also, having a weekly 2 hour team meeting to manage all the urgencies in this time. So, those are like habits, routines that I have implemented over the years progressively. So, when starting new habits, it is important to keep in mind that starting all at once can be overwhelming. So, my advice is to progressively introduce the 3 new habits you choose. And once you have all the habits in place, it is important to keep in mind as well that it might be quite difficult sometimes to comply with all of them. And that is also fine. When this happens, you can always try to achieve a minimum of one of those habits. And with that, you will be walking slightly, maybe slower at that moment, but you will be still walking towards your life vision. And that's what counts, the consistency in your path. So, the magic to make this work is that each habit that you're going to establish elevates all other areas of your life to a certain extent without you even realizing it. So, simplicity and balance between your goals and your habits will actually ensure your path of constant evolution towards your ideal life. So, now is your turn. For today's journaling reflection exercise, I'll leave you with these three assignments. One, create your 3 annual and 3 quarterly goals. Two, create your 3 weekly commitments and your 3 top priorities for the day. And three, establish your 3 key habits that you'd like to implement on a daily basis. Of course, if you need to go back again and listen to this episode for more clarity and more details, do that. And as in the last episode with your life vision creation, this exercise may also take you a few hours or maybe a few days to complete, but it doesn't really matter. What really matters is you doing the work to clarify and decide on the specific actions that you need to take to move you towards your most desired future. So good luck on that. And if you like this episode, please like, rate, subscribe, or even share it with a friend. Thank you for listening and see you in the next one.